Hi there. So in this video, we'll see about the SCCM client installations. So which means the client installation methods. So let's start. So the client installation methods. So as we discussed in our previous lectures, so the supporting and the managing of the devices in the hierarchy is the primary side job. Okay. So all client installations should be performed from the primary side server MSM console only. So remember this thing. And also we have different configuration methods to install the SCCM client software. So you can use the one method or the combination of the methods. So here we have the methods: the client push installation, software update point based installation, group policy installation, logon scripts, manual installation, and Microsoft Intune MDM installation. So as we said, you can use the one of the method or you can use the combination. For example, we can use the client push as the first method, and we can use the manual installation as the second method. Otherwise, we can use the group policy as the third method as well. Okay. So we can use the single client position environment or the combination of 1 and 2, okay, or the combination of 1 and 3. Okay. So fine. Let's see the advantages and disadvantages about this client installation methods. So firstly, we have here the client push installation method. So the advantages. So it can be used to install the client on a single computer or the collection of computers or to the results from the query, and can be used to automatically install the client installation on the all discovered computers, and automatically uses client installation properties defined on the client tab in the client push installation properties dialog box. So it will be available in the sites in the administration section. So we'll discuss it later. And it can be used automatically to install the clients on discovered computers, right? So once we run the Active Directory discovered methods, which means the AD system discovery method. So once it is discovered, that will automatically install the clients. So you have the option to select this thing. So we'll come to the disadvantages. It can cause high network traffic when pushing to the large collections, and can only be used on computers that have been discovered by the configuration manager and can't be used on the workgroup machines. A client push account must be specified, and that account has the administrative rights to the intended client computer. And firewall must be configured, and you can't cancel the client push installation method. Okay, it will run up to 7 days and will retrace the failures. Okay, so this is about the client push installation. Next, we have the software update point based installation. The advantages. So you can use the existing software updates infrastructure to manage this method. Okay, if WSS and the group policy settings in the AD are configured correctly, so it can automatically install the client software on the new computers. Okay, and it doesn't require the computers to be discovered, and also it doesn't require the installation account as well. And if the client is removed, this method reinstalls the client, and it will get the client installation properties from the Active Directory domain services. Okay. The disadvantages about this method: it requires the functioning software breakpoint infrastructure. This is one of the disadvantages as a prerequisite, and must use the same server for client installation and software update points. So this is the another disadvantages. So many companies won't use the same server. So we have the dedicated WSS server for this, and this can be a primary server. Okay. So and also we have the third disadvantages, which means the to install the new clients, you must configure the group policy object in the AD with the client's active software update point and point. Okay. And also, if the AD schema isn't extended, you need to point the group policy with the client installation properties. Okay. So these are the disadvantages and advantages about the software update point based installation. So next we have the group policy installation. So in the group policies, we have some advantages like it doesn't require the computer account, and also it doesn't require the computers to be discovered, and can be used for new client installations for the upgrades as well. And the computers can read the client installation properties that have been published in the AD and doesn't require the computer installation account. Okay. The disadvantages we have here, the large number of clients has been targeted, so it will cause the high network traffic. And if the AD schema isn't extended, so we need to provide the group policy for the installation properties. Okay, so these are the two disadvantages about this group policy installation. Next, we have the logon script. So here we have the two advantages. It doesn't require the computer to be discovered, and also supports using command line property. Okay, it will support using the command line properties. And the disadvantages here we have the large number of clients have been installed over this short time period. It can cause high network traffic. Okay, if users don't frequently log in to the network, it can make a long time to install the client computers. Okay, so it take a very long time. So these are the few advantages and disadvantages about the logon script. So next we have the manual installation. So this manually you can install the clients on the machines. So it doesn't require the client to be discovered, and it can be useful for testing purposes as well, and supports the command line properties. And disadvantages, only one thing, which is the automation, therefore time consuming. Okay, so it will manually you need to install the client, right? So it will take some time. So many companies will use the manual method as the combination. First we can use the client push, and second we can use this manual installation. Okay, the next thing we have the Microsoft Intune MDM installation. So supported platforms will be the Windows 10 or later, and advantages, so doesn't require the computers to be discovered. Okay, and also doesn't require to configure and maintain the installation account, and it can use the modern authentication with the Microsoft Android ID, and client can be installed and assign computers on the internet, and can automate with the Windows Autopilot and Microsoft Intune co-management as well. Disadvantages, only requires the technology outside the configuration manager, and requires the devices have access to the internet even if it is not internet based. Okay. So the only disadvantage is, so we need to configure the Intune. We need to link that Intune to the configuration manager. Then only this method will be possible. Okay. Otherwise, it is no use. So this is a completely cloud-based topic. Okay, so we'll discuss it later in our upcoming classes. So these is all about the client installation methods of the SCCM. Okay, so we'll discuss about one method, which is manual installation method. Okay, so let's install some clients with this manual installation method. Okay, let's discuss the dependencies, Windows components. Many of these components are services or features that Windows enables by default. Okay, remember this thing. So don't disable these components on the configuration manager clients. So don't disable these components. It's our default components which are required by the Windows operating system. First one will be the Windows installer, and then the bits, task scheduler, RDC, and shortcut code signing support. So these are the dependencies for the client installation. Okay. So not only for the manual installation, for all client installations, these are the dependencies. So remember this thing. So next, components which are automatically download during the installation. Okay. So once you run the client installation, which are the components will be downloaded. So the configuration manager has external dependencies. These dependencies completely depend on the OS version and installed software on the client computer. Okay. So the client requires, okay, remember, the client requires these dependencies to complete the client installation, so it automatically installs them. Okay. So no need to download and install manually. So even we are using the manual installation, it will automatically install the required dependencies. Okay. So what are those components? Which is the Visual C++, and then the Windows imaging APIs, Microsoft Policy Platform, .NET Framework, which is defined based on the versions, in the Microsoft monitoring agent, Windows firewall configuration, and the WebView 2 Microsoft runtime. Okay, WebView 2 runtime. So these are the things which will automatically install if required. Okay. So next, requirements for the manual installation. The first thing, we need to copy the source files to the local computer. This is the main thing. The source location. So once you open the site system shared path or the uh, default location as well. So we can use the D drive and the configuration manager, and then we have the client folder there. If you open the shared path as well, you can use like this // primary site server, and then SMS underscore site code. Then you can have the client folder. So we need to open the command prompt as the administrator. Okay. Then we need to go back to this location where we copied the source files. Then we use the command cmzip.exe along with some properties. Okay. So if you provide the client installation parameters on the command line, they modified the installation behavior. If you provide the client installation properties on the command line, they modified the initial configuration of the installed client agent. Okay. So remember, when use the command line parameters, command line commands. So after this .exe, whatever the here, whatever the software. So after that exe, we need to provide parameters and properties. Okay. So next, command line for the manual installation. So we already discussed. So we're using the SCCM server.exe. Okay, the command, and we are going with the parameters properties. So here we have the example command line for the manual installation. You can use the, like here we have the C, and then the system 32 backslash something. Otherwise, we can use the C, the location of the source files. So you have the system.exe, then /mp/logon SMS site code FSP. So /mp and /logon. So you can say this thing as the parameters, and this thing are the properties. Okay. First, we are using the parameters of the SCCM server project, and then we are using the properties of the say client.msi. So like this, we'll provide the command line in the command prompt. Then we'll install the client on the device. Okay. So next, we have some return codes. So we'll monitor the log file, which is the systemzero.log in the client location. So client location means Windows directory, which means the C colon and the Windows backslash system setup and then logs, then system setup.log. If you see the 0 as the return code, it means success. If you see any other return codes here, these are the meaning of the return codes. 6 for error, 7 for the reboot required, 8 setup already running, 9 prerequisite missing, 10 setup manifest hash validation failure. Okay, so like this you can monitor the setup.log, and after that you can validate. So how you can validate? So we can see the services. We can have the SMS agent host. So the service will be running on the device, where we have the SCCM client agent installed, and we have the configuration manager applet. So once we go to the control panel, you can find this thing, configuration manager applet. So once you find this thing, that means the client is installed on that machine. And also, once you open the configuration manager applet, you can have the tabs here. So generally, we have the 7 tabs, like 1, 2, 3, and these 4. Okay. So completely, we have 7 tabs. And when you open the actions tab, so we need to have the actions here, like 11 actions. Okay. So in the Hotbit discovery, we mentioned this thing, right? Remember? in our previous lecture, for the heartbeat discovery, we mentioned this thing. If you want to run the heartbeat discovery manually, so this thing we need to run discovery data cycle collection. Okay. So once you run this cycle, it will manually trigger the heartbeat discovery. Okay, fine. So after this validation, you can also validate by using the task manager. You can see the SCCM exec.exe, and also we can check the software center in the presence of software center. Okay, so we can find the software center when you open the start menu. So there you can find the software center. So if the software center is available, it means the client is installed on that machine. Okay, so these are the few validations where you can validate the client is installed on that machine or not. Okay, so I'd like to open one client installed device. So I'll show you these things practically. So now we are in the one of the client installed device. Okay, so for example, we'll open the command prompt cmd as the run as admin, and we'll copy the source files. Okay, so for example, in the C drive, so I'll create a local folder as the temp folder. So, and also I'll open the their file explorer. So here I'll copy these source files. So where we can find these things, so the shared path of the configuration manager. Okay, so here we have sms underscore leo, which is the sms underscore site code. When you open this thing, you have the client folder here. So we need to copy the ccm setup.exe. So this is the system setup.exe. So we'll copy and we'll paste it here. Okay, this is the main file we need to copy. So I'll close this one, and then you can change the directory to the space temp, and we have ccm setup.exe. So we'll use the parameters like, for example, /mp colon config.geo.com and /logon and sms site code equals leo and fsp equals config.geo.leo.com. So like this, we'll use the command line property. Okay. So once you run this command line, okay, so it will install the configuration manager. So we have already installed this SCCM client agent in this device. So I'll open this one. So we need to go to the Windows SCCM setup folder and logs. So you can find the SCCM setup.log file. So here you can see the return code 0. So which means it is successfully installed the client agent. Okay. Once this log file is finished the recording of the status of the installation, and finally you can have this return code. Okay, so fine. So we have the installed client here. So once the client is installed, so we can have these 3 folders additionally in the Windows folder. CCM setup will create it at the time of installation. Okay, so there you can find the log files. So after it installed successfully, so we can have these 2 additionally. CCM cache, which will be used to save the source files of the deployments, which means the application deployments or the software deployments or the OS deployments, anything. Okay, so whichever you deployed from the console to the client, those source files will be stored in this CM cache folder. By default, this folder will have the 2 GB of size, the 2 GB capacity of this folder. So if you want, you can change the capacity as well. So you can find this capacity as well. So I'll show you. And then the CCM. So CCM folder You can mention this folder. So you can say this folder like a part of this complete installation method. So inside the CCM folder, you have many items. So these items will help you to find the status of the client and also the deployment status and everything. Okay. So once you open the log files here, you have the several log files. Okay, to check the status of this client agent, like for example, it is active or inactive, or it is online or offline. So everything we'll check it out in these log files. Okay, so this is all about the validating of this client agent, and as well as when you open the start menu, we have the software center, the recently added section. Otherwise, if you scroll down, we have the Microsoft Configuration Manager and we have the software center. So this is the software center. Okay, so once you found software center, which means the client agent is installed in this machine. And also we have the configuration manager applet. Once you open the control panel, once you open the systems and security, or otherwise you can mention the large icons, and then you can find the configuration manager applet. So I already pasted this on the desktop. So once you open this one, you can find the tabs. We have the 7 tabs, and the actions. We have the required actions as well. Okay. If you want to run the heartbeat discovery manually, you can run this cycle. So in general tab, you can find the assigned management point. This is the assigned MP and the certificate, and the current it is intranet. Okay. So these things are the validation for the client installation. Okay. So this is all about the SCCM client installations. So see you soon in our next class. Until then, have a great day. Bye.